From MMA Island. Christopher Santiago with MMA On, fighting out of Kill Cliff FC by way of Texas. We're talking to the Lone Star Kid, Landry Ward, ahead of his next fight at Ignite Fights 109 against Nate Jennerman next Saturday. Landry, how's it going today, man?
Doing good. Just had my last sparring of camp today, so feeling good. Ready to have the hard work in the rearview mirror, and now we just get ready for the fight.
For sure, man. Is this your first time fighting in Minnesota?
Yeah, it's been my first time in Minnesota, man. Second time going up to the Midwest. Last time was for my last fight in South Dakota back in April. So yeah, I'm
Awesome, man.
excited.
All over the country. Awesome. I guess how have you been spending the time since your last fight? Obviously, with training camp, how did you spend the time in between? Anything nice? Any vacations?
No, nothing too crazy. Actually, as soon as we finished my last fight, I was actually getting baptized the 2 days after. So just got on the first fight out, came straight back to Florida, did that, and then I figured I was probably gonna have something come up fairly soon. So just got back into the gym, training. I feel like I'm right there on the doorstep of the big show. So trying to make that happen sooner than later. Just staying in the gym, getting better.
Congrats, man. And when did you get baptized again?
Actually, on Easter, I think it was the day before Easter. Yeah, or on Easter. No, it was actually on Easter. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. I guess can you talk to me about your faith and how you kind of came to that decision and why was that the right time, I guess, for you?
Yeah, so I mean, I always grew up kind of around the church, but I was never like a huge, passionate Christian. But life happens, things happen, and kind of hit a spot where when I first started fighting, a lot of it I put like everything's on me. Like whether I win or lose, and I had a big ego, put everything on me, and it kind of hit a spot where I was like, hey, well, maybe I'm too full of myself. And my girlfriend actually, she's always been religious, but she actually got really more passionate about it probably within the past like 2 years. And I just started going to church with her, and I had just lost two fights, so I was really down down on myself. And then going back to church kind of gave me a little peace of mind. Let me know that not. Can you still see me? Sorry,
Yeah.
I just got a phone call and they kind of interrupted. Yeah, not things happen in God's timing. Putting my trust and my faith in Him really gave me a peace of mind. Know that I'm where I need to be. These things were meant to happen. These things were supposed to happen. And yeah, just coming to Him at that time in my life really ended up being like perfect for where I was mentally, for sure.
hmm And you had never suffered back-to-back losses prior to Alfred Walker. Um, that fight, I guess, how did you kind of reassess those losses and how good did it feel to get that win over Bryce Logan, who's very well respected in the MMA world?
Yeah, so having fun enough, the last time I lost anything back to back was back in high school in my football days, and the taste of that sucked. I never wanted to live through that again, and yeah, ran on that two fight skid. Say the biggest thing I took from that, obviously, there's little techniques and stuff growing as a fighter, but just going down to 145, I was done with that. I was killing myself to get down there. Should have listened to my dad sooner. He kept telling me, you got to go back to 55. You look dead at 45. But yeah, getting rid of that weight cut and going back up to 55, I carry a lot more power. I'm not taking a lot of pop out of my punches and stuff when I cut that extra 10 pounds. And yeah, it showed in my last fight. Caught him clean on the chin and put him away. And yeah, it felt good to get back on track, and especially get back on track in the fashion that I did, for sure.
hmm And it's good to see you back in the main event spotlight, man. And you're fighting Nate Jennerman. He was in the PFL. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. Did you know who he was when you got the call to fight him?
I saw the name and I was like, I feel like I've seen that name. And then obviously he was on the tough with McGregor and Chandler season. So I was like, yeah, of course I watched that season. So that was where the name rang a bell. But I don't really know much about him other than just seeing his name throughout the season. Obviously looked him up, saw has a ton of fights, fought for PFL, tough, LFA. So very experienced. He's a good fighter, great grappler, and I'm excited to go show my level. And I feel like beating a guy of this caliber puts me in a great position after this. So I'm excited to go test myself against them and, come out on top and do it in spectacular fashion.
Mhm. I'm curious how much fight tape do you watch on your opponents? Because I know that when fighters watch a lot of it, they could be like hesitant or they overanalyze everything. How much fight tape do you watch?
Yeah, I like watching some. I come from a football background where tape study and film study is huge in it. And I feel like that wasn't really big in MMA until the past like few years. I like to watch study just to get an idea of like, okay, does he have these tendencies, these setups, all that stuff. But also in the back of your mind, got to know that it is a fight at the end of the day, and anything can happen in there. So I like to get those little tendencies, see if we can pick up on something, and if they come out in the fight, be ready for that, but also be ready just to fight if I got to fight.
Hmm. He's 18-5 as a pro. His last three losses have come by TKO stoppage. Do you kind of see holes in the striking game? And I remember in the past interview, you said that you were like the new era of destruction or something like that. So do you feel like you have the power to take him out on the feet if you want to?
Yeah, I think I said the new era of beautiful
You,
destruction. That's
yeah.
what Cub Swanson used to say. That's funny. Actually, one of my fights for LFA, he was one of the commentators, and he was, we did the fighter meeting before it, and I was like, that's funny. When I first started, like my second amateur fight, when I had an interview with someone, I said it. So it was cool, like full circle moment to be talking to him and talk about the beautiful destruction thing. But yeah, I definitely feel like there's things I can pick apart with him in this fight, and I feel like I'm able to land my shots on. Sorry, I keep getting caught. I'm able to
Oh,
land these
you're good.
shots clean, and I feel like I will land clean shots on him and put him down. It's just, I got to stay smart, stay composed, use my setups, everything that I've been working on to bring them out, and I feel like it's going to happen.
Hmm. I feel like I kind of know the implications of a win here, but before I ask you about that, what was your reaction to Noche UFC moving to San Antonio, Texas, from Mexico, man?
Man, I mean, I just feel like it's crazy how it lines up, and I just got to go do my job. All my focus is on going to get through Nate right now, and I feel like if I go do my job and do what I know I can do, I feel like I can set myself up to get on that card. And you just can't write it any better. The Lone Star Kid getting his UFC debut in Texas, and then yeah, it's in San Antonio where the Battle of the Alamo was fought, probably the most historic battle of the Spanish American War or Texas versus Mexico War, and it just brings history full circle. I mean that would be a awesome place to run it back. We get a Texas versus Mexico matchup on that. I just got to
Hmm.
go handle my business on the 16th and see if we can set it up.
Is there anything that you like more about Florida than Texas?
Uh
I mean, the
nah, I
beaches are
was
pretty nice, right?
yeah, the beaches are definitely better here. Yeah, in Texas you get a lot of muddy water beaches, but say the beaches for sure.
How would you describe your fighting style? Because I feel like we talked about in a recent interview, but like if you had to compare it to a fighter in the UFC or something like that, who would the fighter be?
In the UFC.
Maybe like Cub Swanson, I guess, from what you told me.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I definitely took some from him. I mean, I don't know if I specifically resemble anybody, but I definitely, there's a lot of people I take stuff from. Take stuff from O'Malley, Swanson, Adesanya, a lot of the strikers. I watch grapplers too to pick up on tendencies and stuff. But I've taken a lot of my techniques and my style from strikers. But I don't know if there's anybody I'd say I exactly resemble.
do you remember the first UFC fight that you watched? Because I think for me, I was like 9 years old. I watched Rampage Jackson versus Matt Hamill. Uh, do you remember the first UFC fight that you watched?
See, I don't remember the first one I watched, but it's funny you say Rampage Jackson because one of my first memories I have of the sport was my dad was watching it, and it was when I don't remember who was, but Rampage and Rashad Evans were in the
Yes.
cage, and he was like, "There's gonna be some black on black violence," and I was just like, my dad was watching, I was just cracking up. Like, did he really just say that? I don't even remember how old I was, but I was just laughing at that. That was said on TV, and just cracking up. So yeah, I don't remember the fight, but I just remember that moment.
Who was a one UFC star that you really looked up to when you first got into the sport, and like I guess who kind of inspired you to take this journey, if there's anybody?
Yeah, I mean, when I got into fighting, Connor was right at his peak. So, he was definitely one who set an example. And back then, back then set an example. What hard work can do, what chasing your dreams, and staying on the path can be. But yeah, he's taking a little fall from grace nowadays. But back then, it was him for sure.
Awesome, man. I think that's all the questions I have for you, Landry. I just want to thank you again for the time, man. Is there anything that you want to say to the fans out there watching ahead of your next fight?
No, man, just give me a follow, Lone Star Kid MMA on social media platforms. And August 16th, I'm coming to put on a show. Y'all make sure to tune in. I appreciate it.